very good morning to all my dear students. Now in this tutorial we are going to study about Battle of Plassey, which was fought in the year 1757 AD. It was a decisive battle in the history of India, and it was fought between Siraj-ud-Dowla and the Britishers. And this battle marked the greatest victory of the English on India. So now we are going to study about Battle of Plassey. So let's move to the chapter. The Battle of Plassey, which was fought in the year 1757 AD. After getting the news of the fall of Fort William, the officials of the company in Madras, without any delay, sent their forces to Calcutta under Robert Clive and Admiral Watson. So in the already you have studied that Siraj-ud-Dowla, yes, he was a Nawab of Bengal at that time, and he wanted to throw the Britishers away from India, because the Britishers, they were not paying any sort of custom duty while doing the trade. So this Siraj-ud-Dowla was against the Britishers. So he made a fall. He fall the Fort William, and when the Fort William it fall, fort you means that killa. Yes, when it was fall, then these Britishers they became alert towards Siraj-ud-Dowla. After arriving in Calcutta, Clive got the support of Manikchand, the Nawab's officer in charge of Calcutta. So now this Robert Clive and Admiral Watson, they came to Calcutta, and this Robert Clive, they get the support from the people who belong to the Siraj-ud-Dowla side. Like for example, Manikchand. Who was Manikchand? He was a Nawab officer in charge of Calcutta. Mir Zafar. Who was Mir Zafar? He was a commander-in-chief of Nawab's army. And Jagat Seth. Who was Jagat Seth? He was an influential banker. And Om Chand. Om Chand, intermediary, means it was a link between these people. They all wanted to depose Siraj-ud-Dowla. Depose means to remove from his office suddenly and forcefully. So all these people, they all belong to Siraj-ud-Dowla family only, and they mix up with the Britishers to remove Siraj-ud-Dowla. Finally, the Nawab's armies and the company faced each other at Plassey, a mango grove 22 miles south of Murshidabad. So what is Plassey here? Actually, it is the name of a village, and this village in West Bengal. A mango grove. Grove means group of trees that grow close together. That is called grove. So mango trees are there, and they were grown close together to each other. So that is called a mango grove. And how it was miles? It was 22 miles south of Murshidabad on 23rd June 1757. So this, when it took place on 23rd June 1757. A large section of the Nawab's army did not take part in the battle. Lastly, Siraj-ud-Dowla was seized and killed. So what happened to Siraj-ud-Dowla? He fought with the Britishers, but at lastly he was killed. He was first captured and then killed. Mir Zafar was proclaimed the new Nawab of Bengal, and Mir Zafar, who was in charge, the commander-in-chief of Nawab's army, was made the new Nawab of Bengal. Zafar rewarded the British by granting them the zamindari of 24 districts of Bengal. All the French settlements in Bengal were also surrendered to the English. So in return, what Mir Zafar done for the Britishers? What he did for the Britishers? He granted them the zamindari of 24 districts of Bengal. Zamindari means that the system under which zamindars held land. So 24 districts of Bengal zamindari was given, and moreover French settlement which was in Bengal were also surrendered to the English. The Battle of Plassey was the first significant victory of the English in India. They now got a monopoly over trade in Bengal. and gradually succeeded to oust the French and the Dutch. So what, through this battle they got the monopoly, means now it is only the Britishers who got the right on ruling, on doing the trade in Bengal, over trade in Bengal, and all the French and Dutch companies which came to India were thrown by the Britishers. Because Mir Zafar was a puppet in the hands of the company, they gradually extended their political control over Calcutta. So Mir Zafar was not loyal to his subjects, but he was actually a puppet. Whatever Britishers say, Mir Zafar exactly do that only. The rich resources of Bengal made them financially stable to further their political designs in India. So, Bengal was rich in resources, and that rich resources of Bengal made Britishers politically strong. Now we will study Mir Zafar, who ruled from 1757 to 60 AD, and Mir Qasim, who ruled from 1761 to 1764 AD. Mir Zafar was made the Nawab of Bengal after the Battle of Plassey by the British, which you have already studied here. He was not an efficient ruler. He was actually a puppet. He was a puppet in the hands of the East India Company. Soon his son-in-law Mir Qasim was made the Nawab of Bengal by the company. So who was Mir Qasim? Mir Qasim was a son-in-law of Mir Zafar, and after Mir Zafar, Mir Qasim was made the Nawab of Bengal. Mir Qasim was an efficient Nawab of Bengal, but he wasn't efficient. He tried to free himself from the control of the company. He was the last Nawab of Bengal. So he don't want to be a puppet. Yes, he wanted that his Bengal should get free from the hands of the Britishers. He reduced expenditure on administration, removed incompetent servants, and also those who were close to the company. So what he had done, he reduced the expenditure. Whatever expenditure on administration was made, incompetent servants removed. Incompetent means the servants not having necessary skills. Yes, who were not very good. Finally, the company decided to replace Mir Qasim from his post. So now company, Mir Qasim was going against the British East India Company. So that is why now they wanted to remove the Mir Qasim. The company again announced Mir Zafar as a ruler of Bengal, replacing Mir Qasim. So the British East India Company replaced Mir Qasim and again made Mir Zafar as the Nawab of Bengal. Finally, the battle called the Battle of Buxar was fought, and this replacing Mir Qasim, it led to the Battle of Buxar. Now Buxar actually it is the name of a city in Bihar. Now we will study the Battle of Buxar, which took place in 1764 AD. Because Mir Qasim kept limits on the trade privileges of the company, means he was not totally giving the freedom to the Britishers. Yes, therefore the company declared war against him and defeated him in 1763. Mir Zafar was again reckoned as the Nawab of Bengal. So after this, Mir Zafar again made. Now what Mir Qasim decided? Mir Qasim decided to form an alliance. Now he wanted to take revenge from the Britishers. He formed an alliance. Alliance here means he formed an association with Nawab Shujauddaulah of Awadh and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. This is Shujauddaulah and here is Sirajuddaulah. So both persons are different. So he formed an association with Shujauddaulah of Awadh. Awadh, it is a city in UP, and Shah Alam II, who was then living in Awadh. The British defeated these combined forces at Buxar in 1764, and ultimately in this Battle of Buxar, who was the winner? Only the Britishers. By this victory, the British established unquestioned authority over Bengal. Now nobody was there to have a means nobody was there who can control the Britishers. Now they have got the monopoly to have a trade in Bengal and considerable influence over the ruler of Awadh and Mughal emperor. So this battle of Buxar was again, in this battle of Buxar, the Britishers again won the victory. Now students, we will study what is the distinguish between two battles. Between two battles, first is Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. There are some differences between the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. The Battle of Plassey made the company the masters of Bengal. Yes, they defeated Sirajuddaulah. And the Battle of Buxar made the company a significant political power in India. So in after getting the victory from Battle of Buxar, now nobody can control the Britishers. They got the unquestioned. Now they get a full political control in India. The Battle of Plassey was won through conspiracy. So how conspiracy, you know that a secret plan. And the Battle of Buxar was won due to the military superiority of the British forces. In the Battle of Plassey, the Nawab of Bengal was defeated, and in the Battle of Buxar, the Nawab of Awadh and Bengal along with Mughal Emperor Shah Alam I were defeated. So these are the differences between the two battles. Now we will study Allahabad Treaty. With treaty means treaty is there in which an agreement, yes, in which two parties are there and they made some agreement, that is called treaty. So this was a treaty between Clive and Nawab Shujauddaulah. Shujauddaulah, who formed an association with Mir Qasim. By this treaty, the Nawab gave to the company Allahabad and Kara. So in this treaty, what the company gave to Shujauddaulah, Allahabad and Kara. He also agreed to pay rupees 50 lakh as war compensation. So he fought war with Mir Qasim. So now this Shujauddaulah had to pay 50 lakh rupees as a war compensation to the British army. Later, Clive signed the Treaty of Allahabad on 12 August 1765 with the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. So first it was signed with Shujauddaulah, and afterwards again this Treaty of Allahabad was signed with Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. By this treaty, the company gave the protection to Mughal Emperor and granted him an annual pension of rupees 26 lakh. So company said, okay, we are giving you the full protection and we are giving rupees 20 lakh as a pension to you. But in return, what Shah Alam II has to do in return for a firman. Firman here means a permit, means a right should be granted, which granted the company the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So what the Britishers wanted from Shah Alam II, they wanted that that right should be given to collect the revenue, means all the revenue must be collected by the Britishers only in the places of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Diwani here means that all the tax collection should be done by the Britishers only. The Treaty of Allahabad ended the Nawab's authority in Bengal and led to the establishment for the dual government there. So now in Bengal two government established. First is of Britishers and second is of the Shah Alam II. By this system, the Nawab look after the administration of law and order. So what Nawab was giving the duty, that he has to look after the administration of law and order just. Whereas the company itself collected the revenue. And who take the profit? The company. In short, it can be said, the Nawab was given the responsibility without power and the company enjoyed power without responsibility. So this was the Allahabad Treaty. Now we will study about dual government. Dual government means two government at the same place. We have already studied that by the Treaty of Allahabad, the company had the right to collect revenue and control over the army in Bengal, including Bihar and Orissa. But the Nawab, was given the right to look after the welfare of the people. This system was known as the dual system. So in Bengal, on the one side, British government was there, Britishers were there, and on the other hand, it was the Nawab of Bengal was also ruling. So this is called a dual government. The dual system was not useful to the people of Bengal, but this dual government did not prove to be useful. The company's officers were corrupted and greedy. The emils, the collectors of taxes, emils here means it is a position given to the highest administrative offices. They were called as emils, and they collected the money, they collected the revenue from the people of Bengal in a very cruel way, very cruelly. Even they did not, they take the revenue from the poor peasants also. The condition of the peasants became miserable. The company punished them in times of drought. In drought means when there is a time of drought, जब सूखा पड़ जाता था, then also the company, they take the revenue, they punish them. How cruel the Britishers were. Accidentally, famine broke out in 1770, which led to huge loss of life. Famine here means there was extreme shortage of food, and which can be due to war or crop failure or through government policies. The income of the company and the zamindars fell. Keeping in view the defects of the dual system, it was abolished by Lord Warren Hastings in 1772. So after this famine, what happened? The situation became more worse, and then the dual system was finally removed by Governor General Lord Warren Hastings in the year 1772. Bengal now became under the direct control of the company. So the government means the ruling of Nawab of Bengal was finished, and now the whole Bengal gone under the Britishers. Now Britishers, they had a full control over the Bengal. Now we will study about Robert Clive. Robert Clive was actually a simple servant which was sent by the company, but this Robert Clive, he remembered because he was a founder of the British company in India. The English East India Company made Clive as an ordinary servant when he came to India, but he was made the governor of Bengal for 2 times interval from this to this year and this to this year. He showed his qualities as a military commander in the Second Carnatic War. So Carnatic War, which you have studied, yes, so he shown his military commander and won the battle. And you know the Second Carnatic War, which was fought between the Britishers and the French. He also won in the Battle of Plassey in 1757. Battle of Plassey, which was fought between the Siraj-ud-Dowla and the Britishers. He was a well-known reformer also, and he is considered the founder of British rule in India. A political confusion prevailed after the death of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the last Mughal ruler, and he was the 6th. Yes. Who was the father of Aurangzeb? Shah Jahan. India lacked political unity during the 18th century because now no strong ruler was there which can control India or which can take hold of India. So after the death of Aurangzeb, there was economic instability in India. There was no possibility of a strong power in India after the defeat of the Marathas in the third battle of Panipat, which we will study afterwards. It brought now Maratha also defeated, so Maratha's power also rose down. The power of the Marathas also goes down. By taking advantage of the political weakness of Indian rulers, the English started wars against the rulers of independent Indian states. They defeated them in the Britishers, they thought they know now the India was politically very weak, and they took the advantage. They started war with the independent Indian states also. They defeated them, and gradually It helped them in establishing the British Empire in India. So students, today we have studied the most important battles in the history of India, Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey. Hope you are able to understand it. And tomorrow we will study about the Mysore Wars. Now your homework, read the chapter very properly. Meet you in the next tutorial. Till then, have a good day.